Okay, this video is going to be about the new cartridge that's come out from Krikzz, the new Everdrive. It's for the Game Boy Advance. It's called the Everdrive-X5 there, it's the GBA one. The X5 is because the new branding style is going to be, I think, X3, X5 and X7 for different models, but this is the only GBA one out at the moment. It's only just arrived, it's what, August the 5th today, and I thought I'd give it a go compared to the old ones. Previously, I've had a separate flash card for the Game Boy Advance, which was the Easy Flash 4, and that does require quite a few workarounds to get working. So a lot of people have been looking forward, I think, to Krikzz version. You can get that on his website, that's where I've got this from. This one cost $99, and for those of you who don't know, what the Everdrives do effectively emulate the physical cartridge that you put in the original equipment, and then in the top, or wherever on the cartridge, there's usually a SD slot, and you put your ROMs in there and you play them. Now previously, an issue with Game Boy flash cards is typical, or Game Boy Advance flash cards, is typically that you've got to patch the ROMs. You can't just get a ROM, copy it across and it work. You've got to edit them, patch them, change them slightly. And the software to do that was often quite not complicated, but it was a bit of a hassle to use. Came poorly translated, and it was just awkward, and you had to remember every 6 months how to go about patching your ROM files. But now, one thing with the Everdrive is no patching needed. This will just take the ROMs as they are on a, I think it supports about up to 64 gig, but then the whole, I think the whole library is probably only about 20 gig or so. And you can copy it across to the card, you format it as FAT32, you can put it in folders, and away you go. So the cartridge here on the back there, I don't know how clearly that'll show up. It says Everdrive-GBA X5, model 16, not too sure what the 16 refers to. Revision A, 30th of the 5th, 2016 for that PCB, and it's got Krikzz address at the bottom. Now do be aware, a lot of people do buy Krikzz branded products from eBay, and quite often it's from a Chinese seller and it ends up not working. So do get it from a trusted source, or either Krikzz directly. Just make sure it doesn't get, it's not some knockoff. On the front there, it comes already in the case. I don't think you can buy it just with the chipboard on its own. You've got to get it with the case. But a key difference with this one as well is it supports a real-time clock, RTC, and some games really need that to work at all, I think. So for example, like the Pokemon games, they need a clock to be aware of the time, how long it's been running, and that sort of thing. And this supports that. So it's got a lot of great features for it, quick and easy to use. You can access the micro SD slot really easily. If I show you here, it's sort of a pop and click, just goes down there and clicks back into place quite easily. Unlike some of the other flash cards you can get, this one, I can actually get that one out. It's a micro SD inside a mini SD, because for some reason they seem really popular at the time. And I think it supports a maximum of about 2 gigs, so you've got to get a really small card. But it does work, it's just you've got to patch them all the time to make sure the ROMs work. And in addition to that, you've got to patch the Game Boy Advance once, sort of flash the firmware on here to support the patch one. So it's just a bit of hassle really. And once you've done it once, maybe it's not too bad, but it's a lot more convenient with something like this. It is more expensive, as I said, this one's about $99, whereas I don't know now, but before you could pick these ones up for about maybe $50, probably about half the price. But I don't know how long it would last. It feels a lot cheaper, this one as well. I mean, it works, and I'll show you in a minute. But that's what that one is. Okay, so when you've got your Game Boy Advance, all you've got to do is copy those ROMs across to the Everdrive in a folder or loose in the root directory, as well as the operating system. Now, one thing you're going to see here, obviously, when that goes in, it goes in that far. It's easy to get out. You can just put a bit of pressure there, because there's a ridge here. I don't know how well that'll show up. There's a little ridge there to pop it out. But when it's in, it's not flush, obviously. Probably maybe to support the space for the real-time clock, I'm not sure. But that is probably, I would say, the only disadvantage of this new cartridge. But when you're playing it, and I've been trying this out, it really doesn't get in the way. When you hold it, it doesn't bump against your hand, you don't really realise it's there, and then you're looking at the screen so you don't notice it there anyway. So largely it doesn't matter, but that's probably the only thing the other versions have got an advantage on. You can see there, get one of these, easy flash, and then it's really quite flush. It doesn't stick out at all, so that is quite good with that version, but like I say, it's got a lot of drawbacks. So if we put the Everdrive in, and turn this one on. And one thing I've noticed is the games load really quick from this one as well. It doesn't hang about at all. So it boots straight into this menu here. And I don't know if I can get that in the right position. One thing I've noticed is on this, if you don't have the right information files in the right place, it's got useful error messages. So if I didn't have this GBA sys folder, it says create it. It says where to create it, what file to use, where to get the file. The other two folders here, a couple I've added, Europe and Japan, so I can sort of differentiate the ROMs, but I could put it alphabetically, I could put any sort of folder structure I want there. And then when you're in this interface, some of the options are general, so not specific, not specific to a ROM. I can press the select button down here and I get the general options. So the first option at the top there is options. I'll go in there and I can see the save type, different configurations we've got there, EEPROM, SRAM, Flash 64, Flash 128, and off. Swap AB, so that would be swap the function of the AB buttons around in case you want it reversed. Quick boot, now it boots pretty quick anyway, so quick boot on must be pretty lightning. And RTC, off. Now what I've noticed is it seems to adapt to the game anyway, so I don't think you have to override it here, but obviously you could if you wanted to. Next one, recently played, get a list of ones that you play frequently to save filtering through directories, that sort of thing. So that's pretty handy. Start random game, well, self-explanatory. Device info, if I go into there, I've got OS version 1.01. There's only two versions at the moment, 1 and 1.01, and I think the change was just to support a different type of save game or to load it more reliably. FPGA version, whatever it had, I don't think there's a change to that. Assembly date, so this was made on 28th of July 2016 and assembly time at 5:30. Then the about screen gives you the serial number of your cartridge, and then diagnostics just runs through writing to the SD card and reading from it. It gives you the speeds and some other details just in case you get a fault. But that takes a while, so I won't sit through that. Then if we go to a particular ROM, so if I choose my Europe folder, and let's say Fire Emblem, for example, if I press the B button on that, oh no, not B, that's back. If I press A button on a ROM, I can say start it, or I can say ROM info down here. And the ROM info tells me the game ID. I'm not quite sure how the IDs map, but maybe there's an internal database of the IDs, I'm not sure. Save type says how that ROM saves game data, the title of the game, the maker code, so I guess that's the manufacturer, whether it's Nintendo or whichever company. RTC, it says no, so this ROM doesn't support the real-time clock or doesn't need it. And then you just got the file size at the bottom, but then you've also got the file size over on the right there. And even the 16 meg ones load pretty quickly, but I'll do one in a second. Then if I go down to Pokemon, it says here, if I go to ROM view, or ROM info, RTC, yes, so it knows that it needs a real-time clock. Now, I'm no Pokemon expert, I never played them originally, but I'll give this a quick go now. So that's 16 meg, if I load that, select and start. It goes in pretty quick, I'm pretty sure that's quicker than the old, this version. Okay, so I'll skip forward to see if I can get into the game. No idea what Sapphire version is. Yeah, let's say new game. Don't know how long the intros are, but you're on YouTube, so you can fast forward. I've got to wait. I'll be sure. Yeah. Okay, now I don't know if any, or what point it would fail if the clock wasn't working, but it seems to get in so far. Okay, well, I seem to be in the game. I don't know if I can get the menu up here. We'll get out of this text section. Come on. Right, okay, start. What have we got? Background save option. Not seeing a reference to the time, but like I say, it's obviously working. Save, play time, I mean it's counting the time, but either way I think that works. So let's get back to the menu. I don't think you can get back to the menu with a key combo. I think you've got to restart it, but it doesn't take long to boot it. And then there was that quick boot option as well. Okay, so what else we got? Iridium 2, what's that, 8 meg, let's see how long that takes to load. Again, it's pretty flawless with the ROM files. It's just so convenient not having to think, have I patched that one? Where's the patching tool? How does it copy it across? It's just so much hassle before. I like games that skip when you press start, that's good. It works fine, it just doesn't let me shoot yet. No, I can't, okay. Let's try something else. I think I must have chose training or something there. Now there was one that I had problems loading a minute ago, and I don't know if it's my card. It says, I've just put this Samsung, so it's half decent quality. That flashes when it's being read. A game on here didn't seem to work. If I go into that Europe folder and choose Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I think the ROM's okay, but select and start. There, SDI error. So I don't know if I've got a slight issue with the card or problem with the ROM or what, but that seems to be the only one that's throwing an issue at the moment. What else we got down here? Let's go mouse slug maybe. Select and start. And yeah, it reads, flashes red when it reads there. I mean, as far as I can tell, there's absolutely no difference between playing this and with the original full cartridge in, rather than just reading the ROM from it. As you can see, it's very playable. Works well. Okay, so let's check one of these Japanese ones. But it seems to play any region ROM quite happily. Okay, Japan. Oh, what did I do there? Right, King of Fighters. Let's try that. I think really the only difference with some of the... Oh, maybe my card is playing up. I'm not sure. Let's try Aladdin. That seems fine. Yeah, I'll have to check that. There goes a bit of Japanese text, but that's probably about it. I think if we skip that, main menu is all English. Okay. Yeah, that's no problem at all. And again, you can see it. Oh, I will try a different card. Maybe it's the wrong speed. I think it's all right though. If I check that, get that card out. Don't know if that'll focus. I'll use my eyes. It's class, well, 10 or that U1, whatever that is. So 32 gig, class 10, it should be fine. It's a new card, but it's not that happy in there at the minute. Ooh. Like I said, I think it needs to be formatted to FAT32, but this one said it is, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, that's weird. Wasn't okay, now it is. Anyway, King of Fighters, let's try that. No, it doesn't like that one. I'll try copying some of these ROMs over again, but I'm sure it's probably fine. Yeah, no problems at all once it's loaded. Okay, I can turn that off a sec. Just for comparison, I could put the other card in and you can see how the games load on that one. Okay, so Easy Flash 4. Again, it's a lot of hassle to get them working. You've got to patch the ROMs, you've got to patch the system, and it's a bit slower as well running, and then you've got to put up with the weird way the SD card has to get stored in there. It's okay, so if we boot that one up, what should I try? Let's give Final Fight a go. Yeah, that's much slower. I mean, not that really, once you're in the game, that's fine, but it's obviously a lot slower system to read from the card. Plus, this obviously doesn't support the real-time clock. But once it loads, it's in, it's okay. And yeah, there we go. So that's the other SD card I've got there to run with. But broadly, I've been really happy with this. I've only played it for about, I don't know, a couple of hours or so. But it does everything that the website says it will. You know, it support the real-time clock games. You don't have to patch it at all. You don't have to patch the destination system. I haven't tried it on, I've got a couple of different GBA SPs. I haven't tried it on the other couple I've got. I'm just wondering why I had a couple of those read errors. Maybe it's a memory card, or maybe because I've patched this one to deal with that card, it's got a bit of a conflict. Not too sure. But yeah, I'd say the only real disadvantage with this one is the size. But then it doesn't stop you playing it. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't look that bad. I think it's a great addition to Krikzz's Everdrive range. I totally recommend getting one. One thing it doesn't do, I'm pretty sure it won't run Gameboy games, unlike the actual SP I could put. Actually, you can quite happily put an original game in an SP, but that won't work with the emulated version. So you'd have to get, say, the Gameboy Everdrive as well to get that one to work. But yeah, no, it's great. They're shipping now. I'd recommend you check them out. Any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try and help. Thanks.